Hi, my name is Malcolm Daly. I'm founder of Trango. I started the company in 1991 to bring cool and innovative climbing gear to the market. Today, I want to show you how to use the B-52. It has a lot of advantages over a traditional belay device. Number one, it's really light. It's about the lightest belay device on the market today. Number two, it's got long rope slots. Really easy to fit that rope in, even if it's an old worked out gym rope. Number three, it provides more friction than a standard belay device does. Number four, it's extremely smooth for rappelling. Five, the B-52 works over a much wider range of rope diameters than a traditional device does. Number six, you can auto block with it if you know that technique. So let me show you how to use the B-52. But first, please, these are not belaying instructions. I'm not going to teach you how to belay in a 3-minute video. That's the job of an AMGA certified rock guide. Please take the time to learn how to belay correctly. So take a look at the B-52. Notice that there's a small end and a large end. It's an asymmetrical device. There's only one way to load the B-52. There is no high friction mode or low friction mode. Please pay attention to that. The B-52 works best with ropes from 9.4 up to about 10.7 millimeters. Now take your rope, the end that's going to the climber, make a bite, push it through the slot with the end that's going to the climber coming out on the narrow side. The brake side is always over the big side of the B-52. Clip it into the belay loop of your harness with a locking carabiner. Check to make sure it's loaded correctly, and then screw that gate shut. The only place to clip your locking carabiner and belay rig is to the belay loops. Don't clip it into the tie-in points. I see this way too often, and we don't recommend that. The other thing to take notice of is that belaying really is a vertical activity. When you catch a fall or lower somebody, that load's going to come from straight up somewhere. Okay? That means your brake hand is down. So be sure that your belay device, this goes for anything, not just the B-52, is oriented up and down with your brake hand on the bottom, not the top. If you rig it the opposite way, probably won't kill anybody, but it sure kinks the rope and is not nearly as smooth for feeding and lowering. This is not the right way to rig it. It needs to be rigged with the brake hand coming off the bottom of the setup. That. All right, so it's time to belay the leader. Everything's all rigged up. Double check everything, please. Knots on both ends, buckles on your harness. Make sure you're not doing anything stupid. And then clear the signals with your climber. So, Casey, you're on belay. Right. Climb on. Yeah, you got it. So you notice when you catch a fall that the B-52 rotates into a more vertical position. We get the friction from the kink and a little bit of pinching action between the carabiner and the bottom facet of the B-52. That's what gives you your increased braking force. All right, when it comes time to lower, the B-52 has a special trick. Case, you ready to lower? Ready. All right, so relax the rope, it'll start to lower smoothly, and instead of just being able to control the lower with your brake hand, watch this. You can actually rotate the B-52 with your hand and control the speed. So with your brake hand, you can be very, very relaxed. Now this doesn't work all the time. If there's no friction in the climbing system, if the climber is extremely heavy and there's too much pull, it'll be too hard to rotate that. But in a lot of cases, this works. Casey, how much do you weigh? So Casey weighs 180. The rope, there is some friction in the system over the edge up there, but I can totally control the lowering speed by rotating the B-52. You see, I'm barely holding it here with my brake hand. That's a really, really nice feature. All right, one of the things we love about the B-52 is how smooth it rappels. It's a combination of the long slots and the way that it rotates to increase friction. So to rappel, take your strands of rope, make a bite, put it through. Be sure that your brake hand, again, is on the bottom. We don't turn the B-52 around to rappel. Clip the whole thing into your locking carabiner. Screw that gate shut. Then the next thing I do is I take the slack out of it. Get ready so that I feel it. Now I want to show you a trick. This has really made my life better. I keep a little short prusik loop right on my leg loop here. I keep it there all the time and it's always there. I can make a what they call a auto block for rappel. You can use a prusik loop if you want. You can use a climb heist. Clip that in here, and that helps you control your rappel. You keep your brake hand right on that knot, and then when you go to rappel, it slides down. If you need to stop for any reason, it simply grabs, and you can do whatever it is you need to do. Adjust yourself, clean a route, the whole bit. It's here. If you're going to be spending any time doing this, I always tie a backup overhand on a bite with all the strands, just so that if it does end up blowing, you can do it. The nice thing about putting this below the rappel device is that when it comes time to rappel again, it doesn't jam up. It's very smooth, and you can just rappel down. Again, keeping that cord wrapped around your leg loop all the time means it'll always be there. Before I did that, I never used this because this prusik loop was somewhere else. So I just wrap it right here. And keep it right there on my harness. That's where it lives. For this video, I didn't show you with my gloves, my belay and rappel gloves on, because they'd get in the way of clear demonstration. But I really, really like using gloves for both rappelling and belaying. They seem to save my hands, they allow me to hold onto the rope tighter, and just make my life a little bit more pleasant at the crags. So belay and rappel gloves are great things. If you want to use the B-52 to auto block seconds, please take the time to learn the skills, practice them until you're thoroughly familiar with them, and then anticipate its use in every possible situation. Thanks for watching, and climb safe.